So hello people and welcome back. It's been 3 months. About 3 months. Yeah, it was a bit of a 3-month hiatus away from the vehicle, and I just needed the break. Really got it to the point. There was quite a productive few months. I got it to where it is, driving around, charging, discharging, doing all it should be doing, but still needed those few bits and pieces done. It's kind of, we got it to a point, built it all up, that the next couple of jobs I have to do means taking it apart again, and I just couldn't face it for a while, and so I just concentrated on work. And then I got right, then I started buying the bits and pieces that I needed. A couple of the bits and pieces I'm going to show you today, this evening, 10 o'clock, and to get us moving again, to get us doing brakes, to get us doing a bit of steering, maybe. I changed my mind on that. And most vital, BMS. Big job. But, so yeah, what have I done the last 3 months? Not a lot really. It's driven out, it's reversed around a bit, it's gone up to the driveway, come back again. Not much at all. I didn't want to charge it too much without having the BMS in there to keep guard over everything. I know that the cells in here are pretty robust, but I just said nah. It was the biggest part of the investment, and so I didn't want to go and mess it up. So what have we done? Let's have a look. Okay, so right here got our brake set up, bench test tastic. And what I've been trying to do was, if you remember before, I was trying to use the Bosch sensor that are fitted to so many oodles of cars on the GM side, but also I think Citroen, Peugeot, PSA Group, they all fit them as well. And I was trying to work it with a switch, MOSFET switch here, designed by one of the guys on the Open Inverter forum, but it's more specifically to be used with VAG switch, Volkswagen switch. This one. So I played around with this for a while, and I tried to get it working with Johannes, and just couldn't nail it. To get it to switch off the pump in time, working with relays, working with all sorts. So I said, right, here's the spare one. I'm going to keep working on this one and get it working with the Bosch sensor. But for now, we've gone back to the other Bosch sensor there. So in a nutshell, remember, so what we have is we're swapping out hydraulic assist for vac assist. Vac assist used by Audis of this era for engines that were below 100 horsepower, 110 horsepower. So anything below. So this is a 2-liter 16 valve, had hydraulic assist. And if you drop down to a standard 8 valve, it was vac assist. So this is a straight swap. This Lucas is fitted to everything else, all over. Audi 100s, 80s, the lot. So it is a drop in. And then we've got a vac pump, which is from any modern Volkswagen, Audi, SKODA, whatever you're having, diesel, to give extra vac boost in a normal sort of system. They're plentiful. My God, you can get them for everything. This one's actually out of a Jaguar, but they're all made by Hella, really, so part numbers all down in the description for that. And then we have the switch, which basically you're going to see how this works now. So come in for a closer look. So what I'm going to do is we're going to power it up. Actually, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to remove the power to the pump. I'm going to power up 12 volts in my snazzy new power supply. No more hooking things up to a motorcycle battery and hoping things I don't blow up. Yeah, Chinese, they're amazing. So yeah, so at the moment you can see there. Can you see there? That's at 4 volts. So basically what you're doing is this is being fed 12 volts into the switch here. On the far side, it's feeding the switch 5 volts and it's returning 4.4. When that gets down to 0.7, that's when it knocks that off. That's when the vacuum, it's purged of all the air. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. You're going to see that dive as the vacuum takes shape. Takes shape? Takes no shape. The vacuum. And so let's go for it. And that's it. Sitting around 0.65. And I've actually had this do that and sit there. I've disconnected everything. I've come back to it hours later and it's still sitting there. It's sitting in around, like the whole system as it is, simple as it is, it's holding the vac. But as soon as I press the pedal, here's me pressing pedal, just even a smidge. That's it. And if I give it a full purge, with that, I get 2 presses of the pedal with that. Beforehand, I wasn't getting that. I'm getting 2 presses of the pedal. So, yeah. So I would call that a mighty success. All this now, go into that. Probably do that the weekend. And happy days. The servo went straight in. Might be a bit of forward movement of the inverter just to make it fit. Motor pump is will sit up near the bulkhead, and that I can put in the existing box I have in there. So yeah, few wires, and so just 3 wires there, 3 wires there. You have on this, for example, you have there's ground, you have you have live 12 volt live, and you have a switched ground. And then over this side you have 5 volts ground and your receiving voltage there. So happy days. That's bench test I've been trying to do for ages, and that's done. Into the car. Next up on what I thought was a great idea at the time list is EPAS. Electric power assisted steering, anyone? From the Corsa B and C. This is from the Corsa B. Yeah, anyway, I talked about it before. Here it is in all its glory. And yeah, I kind of have it in my head that long term I want to get rid of the TRW we have in there. Constant whine, sitting in traffic, electric car, you have the constant whine. One thing I'm going to try before I do this is wrap it in some sort of neoprene kind of cloak coat to try and drown out some of the decibels from it. See if that works. Might be a simpler solution than this. The one thing I said about that is when you light up the car and get going, if you straight away want to turn the wheel, it takes about 10 seconds for the motor to spool up. Not ideal. So this though, you get it straight away. This is used by all the, as I said before, as I might have mentioned before, it's used in the rally circuit for a lot of stuff. It's also used in retrofitting out steering columns in big old Daimlers and rollers for their aged drivers who don't have the strength in their shoulders anymore. These are swapped out quite regularly. All it is that's the down to the rack. Steering wheel goes up there, and that's fine. How are you going to control it? Usually what you have is you have a few wires here. You have a switched some of these you have a switched positive, you have your ground, but then you have a speed sensor, you have some other sensors that are feeding info here that tells it if you're stationary, there's no movement from the wheel, yes, give it power assisted steering, but in this, if you just hook it up, it's not going to do that. So some genius has come up with a little arrangement with an adjustable pot, which means then you just go click that out, plug that back in. You've got an adjustable pot here, which I'll go into later. What we do is we give it power, and what you can do is, here's our earth, there's our earth there. Earth is also going to be hooked up to this earth here. Come on, earthies. And the black here goes to the red zone. This is our switched. See, the big red is your permanent, and that is just switched. So at the moment, no power, kind of sluggish. You can imagine you've got your full rack on this as well. You're not going to be able to turn that this much. Give it some 12 volts. That clicks into gear, and straight away it's light. It's like fingertip light. This pot you can make the steering heavier or lighter. So we turn it right down, goes back to being heavy. Quick movements, very sluggish. Turn it around, and straight away it's light. Now, that was quick. Now, super, you say? It's amazing. What's not amazing is the amount of work that I need to go in to actually fit this fella in. And what I actually may do, what I'm thinking about it is, I've got all the interior stripped out on the coupe here. I'm actually going to do a sort of a test mock-up fit and see if it fits in there rather than taking out the dash out of the 80 here. But yeah, basically this would need to be shortened right back. This actually comes out, believe it or not. It comes down to here, the shaft in here. Take the sleeve out, you can replace the shaft down there. There's a lot of like chopping and changing. So that'll sit right underneath the dash and pop out into where the steering wheel usually goes. That goes down onto a joint, and yeah, so simple. Am I going to do it? Yes, but not for a while. It's not essential. The TRW, grand. It's grand for what it needed for. So I'm going to move this aside, pull a curtain over this for the moment, and that'll be it for later on this summer. Big thing is BMS. So, as we know, when I built the packs, front and rear, the rear pack didn't need to be touched. All the BMS wiring could be left as is, out into the two plugs, perfect. I had to remake everything for the front because they were based on those flat packs that are usually in the belly of the Leaf. So I managed to put, for the 20, I got them all all the BMS wiring, I'd say pretty much bang on. It's the 4-pack on the left hand side, which I think I might have got 1 or 2 wires crossed, which is why one day when I plugged in the BMS and everything was all up and running, I heard a click, 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 sort of bang. I thought it was a bird pecking at the door or something. Turns out I think it was the BMS just frying a few of its components inside, as I got a little bit too much voltage. So, plan is, we need to remove Tesla charger, we need to drain the whole cooling system, we need to take out the high voltage junction box in the rear, and then we need to drop the pack. Take it out, unseal it, take out BMS, and at the same time check every single wire to make sure its pin out matches what's in there. So that's the biggest job. That's a full weekend. So I'm just trying to rev myself up to getting that done. Again, buying stuff. It's good to buy stuff. Shopping around. This popped up locally locally as in on the island of Ireland, which is rare enough. And so I was actually made aware of it by one of the community on the Open Inverter forum, and they pinged me a message and says, "Hey, quick, Fiacre, look, there's one of these for sale." It turns out somebody had scrapped a leaf for the battery for their solar backup, and they had this sitting on the shelf. They forgot about it and went, "Ooh," put it up for sale, and I nabbed it. Bit of a punt, because there's a year or two difference between my pack and what this came out of. I just thought it's worth a punt. And because I hadn't seen any others for a decent price, so I said, right, give it a whirl. So that's what's going to be going in. Once I've checked all the wiring, I don't want this to start going fit, 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 fit again. So, steering, brakes, yes, this most definitely. Once I have those two done, the other thing is, the other job is heating. But I can get that done during the summer. I mean, the one thing is the kids won't be complaining about the heating, but as somebody much, much wiser than me said, if you're going to do heating, it's always a good time to do it during the summertime. I don't quite get it, but there's some logic to that. On the heating, I'm going to try this. I'm going to give the Eberspacher. Yeah, one of these 5 kilowatt heater that came out of the Leaf. Gonna give it a go. PWM. Actually, some say it's lane based. Other people say it's PWM. I'm pretty sure it's the latter. We'll try and see what happens and light it up. I need to get up on my PWM knowledge. It can't be that difficult. There's modules out there I can get. Literally, it's high voltage in and a couple of pins to regulate it. And it can sit in the engine bay somewhere there. And you just use the in and out from the heater matrix. And so it'll be there, ready to go whenever I need it. So that's that. That, I think, is for now. It's a short update. A couple of gimmicky things. I'd like to be able to get a head unit in there with a nice screen that shows me everything. Because at the moment I'm still throwing in the Huawei in there just to reflect what's on the VCU. Refresh rate is a bit slow, but working on that. Work on something else. And what else was I going to say? Yeah, and then there is another thing. Someone's been working on some analog, digital to analog sort of little things, Arduino based things to get some clocks working as well. So probably just going to purchase one of those and throw a bit of code on it and feed it into the dash as well. Do some trials with this. It just needs speedo, temp, charge, and that already operates itself from the gearbox, so no worries there. Maybe a few warning things. And actually I was going to throw these in as well. What do we got? We got oil temp, we got oil pressure, we got volts. So you can use the 12 volts there. That's easy, that's straightforward. We can relabel these to show, I don't know, COVID checkpoint coming up, something. Yeah, so that's it. Thank you for sticking with me on this hiatus. I'm glad to be back. I'm motivated, and sun comes out so much better. And looking forward to having some more drive tests and actually doing some mileage tests on this, because I've been so reluctant to do any with the non-BMS situation. So stay tuned for more crazy stuff and that we might do with our new Chinese 30 volt power supply, so we can't blow things up. Cool. See you next time.